And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gem in the Crypto, episode 511. Today is Tuesday, December 3rd, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday. And today's top stories: former CFTC chair to remain focused on crypto and blockchain at new law firm. Monero implements hard fork, including new ASIC-resistant mining algorithm. Bitcoin Lightning Network payments hit Bitfinex and industry first. Sanctions were discussed at North Korea crypto conference, attendee says. And new Bitcoin wallet hides addresses to solve terrible user experience. But first, of course, let's go ahead and talk about these prices. We're in the green today, people. Do you see the articles? It's all about the bull markets here. No, I'm kidding. Not a lot of price movement, but we are in the green technically. Bitcoin's at $7,317, up 0.26%. Ethereum's at $148, up 0.04%. Ripple is at a whopping 22 cents, up 0.72%. Bitcoin Cash is down at $213, down 0.5%. Litecoin's at $45.70, down 0.07%. And EOS is up at $2.72, up 1.06%. So again, not a lot of price movement on that 24-hour cycle as of now, but I'm sure we'll see some more things happen in the next few weeks. What's going on? Shannon Allen, Crypto and Culture, Clarence Dennison. Yes, we are in here. You already know what time it is. Donna Muhammad, Sergeant Crypto, Tony Nolly, Madam Crypto. Hello. PFC Wills, what's going on? Oh, I'm glad to have some of these names in here early this morning. As you can see, I'm starting an hour early. Tuesdays, I'm kind of running around right now. What's going on, Jizzy Mac? But I know you all are going to find this first story beyond interesting. I mean, it's crazy. Former CFTC chair to remain focused on crypto and blockchain at new law firm. That is right. Former United States Commodity Futures and Trading Commission chairman Chris Giancarlo was hired as senior counsel at the New York-based law firm Wilkie Farr and Gallagher. Now, you may remember Giancarlo. I believe it was either last year, was it 19? Yeah, early 2018 when the CFTC and SEC started coming out with crazy regulations and giving permission slips and licenses to only their best friends in office. Giancarlo came out, of course, when I believe it was Congress who had CFTC and SEC talk about cryptocurrency and all that good stuff. But on December 2nd, Reuters reported that Giancarlo, in his new role at Wilkie Farr and Gallagher, will continue to focus on digital innovation in areas such as cryptocurrencies and blockchain. Giancarlo, also known as CryptoDead, commented on his role. You can read the comments here on Cointelegraph. He basically talked about how he wants to continue to advocate for the development of a blockchain-based digital dollar and a new American lending benchmark to replace LIBOR. But the biggest part of the story is the whole "I told you so." I mean, I really hate to say this. And I remember when the CryptoDead thing first came out, we were some of the first, if not the only people saying, like, who nominated this guy as somebody like, Godfather or something in the crypto community? He works for the CFTC. He's a CFTC chair. Just because he's doing some things to make it present like, to present some things like he's here for the community. Just like the rest of the regulators out there, he is there for big business and government, which he showed while he was in that position. And then one of the things I continuously kept saying as people kept pushing the Giancarlo CryptoDead and how great he was and all this other stuff was that just like the same guy who created the Bit license, I forgot his name, but the regulator who created the Bit license, literally within a year, he was working at a private consulting firm, consulting crypto companies on the Bit license. I said the same thing when I saw Giancarlo come up talking about he's a new CryptoDead and he's here for cryptocurrency and all that. I was like, he's going to do the same thing. That is the game. That is what they do. I mean, they do it at Goldman Sachs. They do it over at JP Morgan, some of these other Wall Street law firms or financial companies. They literally go work there one day and the government the next. And then while they're working for the government, they create laws and regulations that are favorable toward these bigger organizations and institutions and people of power. Then they go right back and work for them, or vice versa. They start government and then go over to the private sector. Now, as a business person, I'm not knocking this. I remember while being in the military, I was being poached. And then when I got out the military, I was still getting poached as far as like, hey, if you want to come work for these big organizations, like, say less. We got you. This is, the role. Like, come take care of business. So I know how the game goes. And again, it's one of those things where not to be negative Nancy, but this is what it is. I mean, this is what the guy literally did. A year ago, he was establishing cryptocurrency regulation for the CFTC. He was giving out hall passes and letting some institutions start their start whatever industry, or excuse me, start whatever business they wanted in the cryptocurrency industry, while other smaller companies and organizations that have been in the industry could not. And then a year and a half later, he's out literally working on Wall Street. The guy who just made the rules is now working on Wall Street. This is crazy, people. I mean, I really can't believe that it's just happening in front of us like this, but it definitely is. Again, when Giancarlo, you can see here, was chairman of the CFTC, the first Bitcoin futures products were allowed in the United States. He also expressed his belief that Ether is commodity and that Ethereum futures trading would become a reality. Again, it's a guy who is trying to turn Ethereum into commodity because he worked for the CFTC, trying to have government to take over it. He was there when the first future products were given their license. Again, had a helping hand in that. And now he's working on the private side for Wall Street. The same people who hope to utilize and to make a lot of money off this technology when they get the likes of him on their team. So, I mean, bravo for you, Giancarlo. Hey, as another business person, I look up to these moves. It's quite incredible. But as someone in the cryptocurrency industry, like, this is the problem. And even bigger, this is the issue with trying to follow every law or seeking regulation and seeking laws for an industry where we don't need it yet. Again, I talk about that all the time. A lot of these people who are already upper mid-level or senior level professionals who came into the cryptocurrency community late, if you will, even though it's still not late, but who came in the last few years, who are hoping to make a quick buck and to mitigate their risk. They want people like the CFTC and the SEC to come in and give regulations and make laws so those little guys out there who don't have money can't become competition. But again, this is what happens when we decide to blindly follow laws and regulations and regulators, even though they're looking out for their own self-interest, not the interest of the general public. So it's crazy to see this. But hey, called it. Doesn't really surprise me. I knew this was going to happen. It's not going to just be him. I wouldn't be surprised to see some people from the SEC make the same flip. The IRS making the same flip. And then on the flip side, as I already said, some of these Goldman Sachs employees, JP Morgan, I know it's hot right now, but it's starting to cool off. They're going to start shoving their employees in these government positions left and right here as well. And that's 2 in 1 week. We got the CFTC chair now is going private. And then we have the backed CEO now possibly becoming a state senator for the state of Georgia. People, you can't make this up. I mean, it's the corruption is happening right in front of us. It's crazy. Let's see who else we got in here. What's going on, Dexter Hand Sr.? Tony Nolly said revolving door politics. You already know. It's crazy. PFC Wells said, I feel like the same thing is being set up for the last from the SEC. The chairman, I agree. Yep, they said people are saying the same thing about Caitlin Long and how she's the face for Wyoming. Again, as Tony Nolly called it, revolving door politics. Let's be clear about this. This is corruption. This is corruption. You cannot work one day creating all the rules and then the next day go work for companies that benefit from those rules that you just created. Or on the flip side, work for companies that are basically getting these hall passes from government agencies and then literally go work for the same government agencies while you still own the same company that can benefit from the things you create while at that chair or the position. So something to think about. It's not going to stop anytime soon. As I said, it's right here in our face. And it is going to continue to go down. So it's very interesting to see, though. In better news, though, Monero implements hard fork, including new ASIC-resistant mining algorithm. Wow. I like this actual comic, too, or this picture. Cointelegraph, shout out. Again, they have some of the best artwork out there ever. They got Monero. Looks like they're doing some dips, some leg raises to get those abs going and getting strong in the gym. Looks like the Monero network has successfully upgraded to RandomX, a new mining algorithm that aims to be ASIC resistant. On November 30th, the Monero Community Work Group did a live stream on YouTube in which the upgrade took place at around the 58-minute mark. The new upgrade also introduced proof of work algorithm, RandomX, which uses random code execution together with memory-focused techniques to be resistant to application-specific integrated circuits, also known as ASIC, which you're probably more familiar with, devices optimized for professional mining operations. Now, there's been a few different cryptocurrencies talking about doing this, and there's been this big battle of developers of does this actually work? Is it better in the long term or not? Now, for those who don't know, ASIC miners, of course, are some of the miners that Jahan Wu over in China sells. they're able to basically exploit regular cryptocurrency mining or Bitcoin mining or Monero mining at the time before this was written, where those people who own ASIC miners could mine more crypto. Basically, you can do it more efficiently, use less energy. Everything was better with an ASIC miner, right? So now people started saying, hey, well, this is unfair, because if you remember, when they were selling the ASIC miners, you were only allowed to buy one. That is right. I can't remember the price on it. I believe it was like maybe $4,500 for one at the time I saw. Maybe more than that. If somebody knows the price, go ahead and let me know over in the comment section. But the ASIC miners, when they were selling them, when Jihan Wu was selling these ASIC miners, you could only buy one. Meanwhile, his mining farms had as many as they could hold. As many as they wanted, of course, he was going to pump them out. So they're pumping out this exploit basically where you can mine cryptocurrency more efficiently, faster, make more money basically, and he controls the miners that can do all that. So because of that, cryptocurrencies like Monero, I know they talked about for Bitcoin, was like, hey, how can we make this ASIC resistant? Well, it looks like RandomX has achieved that. The upgrade is also reportedly optimized for general purpose central processing units, basically CPU, in order to make the network more decentralized. As a result, those who wish to use graphics processing units, GPU, to mine Monero might find it more difficult to do so. So again, if you have regular computers, this is supposed to be optimized for you. And I mean, granted, you're not about to start a mining pool from your laptops or desktops anytime soon, but it does give you the ability to mine Monero more efficiently than what you could before when they had ASIC miners out there. Again, the Monero team believes that the ASIC machines have a centralizing effect, as there are only a few companies in the world that are able to manufacture them, as we just talked about Jihan Wu and his army of ASIC machines, and he only sells out, those miners can only be sold one per person. And however, others have claimed the exact opposite. I know Brandon Cohen, best known author of the peer-to-peer BitTorrent protocol, recently said that ASIC resistant POW, proof of work, is both a pipe dream and a bad idea. Cohen added that it's much better idea to be ASIC friendly because ASIC resistance just creates more centralization around manufacture when it inevitably fails. Vitalik Buterin, of course, Ethereum founder, he echoed similar sentiments. You can see here, he also said that ASIC resistant algorithms have a limited lifespan, and ASIC resistant ultimately makes 51 attacks cheaper, something we talked about yesterday with the Vertcoin Bittrex 51% attack. They're saying in the long term, once that lifespan of that technology of being ASIC resistant algorithm, once that algorithm wears off and people figure out an exploit around it, they're saying that now you are truly going to be, as they say, out of the frying pan into the fire. I was going to use a profane word, but I let it go. But in general, they're saying this is making it easier for a 51 attack to occur. So it's crazy seeing this. But as of right now, Monero is going to be the test baby. I guess we're going to see how well it works. Does it work? How long it will work? And how, I'm sure they'll continue to update. That's the only other thing about it. When they say things are ASIC resistant algorithms, especially Vitalik Buterin's comment, they make it seem like the developers are going to stop developing. They're just going to make the algo and then that's going to be it. I hope to see that if the miners do begin to catch up with this new algorithm, then we'll see another upgrade or another fork come out of Monero where they can continue to make it resistant and still be as decentralized as possible. So we'll see what happens with that. Bitcoin Lightning Network payments hit Bitfinex in industry first. Another great drawing here or piece of art on Cointelegraph. Cryptocurrency exchange Bitfinex has revealed the first of two major upgrades. It says it will completely change user payments and spending habits. In a tweet on December 2nd, the platform's CTO, Paulo Ardino, confirmed that as of Tuesday, it will support Bitcoin transactions on the Lightning Network. This move is the first for a major cryptocurrency exchange, Bitfinex announcing it via its updates mailing list. Now, first of all, hand clap for Bitfinex. This is one of the first bigger platforms I see implemented. And again, it goes to show that the technology is working, people. It's working. We just had the Lightning Network really got up and running last year, and here we already have exchanges beginning to utilize it. Looks like this will allow users to benefit from instant transactions and will pay almost zero fees to send funds via Lightning. The reveal also appears to correspond to the first of two mystery integrations Bitfinex announced on its website last month. They claim once this feature is unlocked, crypto transactions will never be the same again. Now, they say when this feature is live, the way you spend crypto will change forever. They're talking about that from the second improvement as well. And again, yeah, the Lightning Network has been functional on the Bitcoin mainnet since the start of 2018. Designed to improve the Bitcoin network capacity, the tool has received high-profile backing from the likes of Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey and others. At the same time, its use remains reserved for the technically minded because, yes, you do have to be technically savvy to actually get a Lightning Network going and start to utilize it, as its nascent state makes it unsuitable for novice crypto investors. Again, this is pretty cool to see that they're already implementing it. And this is one of the things we say about blockchain technology or the Lightning Network. While you do need to be technically minded, at the end of the day, once these companies adopt it, it's going to be on the back end. People won't even see it happening. They won't need to know the words Lightning Network. As Bitcoins, they always use the example. It's going to be like hearing the word, TSP addresses or IP addresses and all that stuff. It's like you don't know these numbers. You don't know what's going on the back end of your computer, or how the protocols are being transmitted so you can have internet or you can watch me live. You don't understand that, but it's still there. So that's what looks like. That's where Lightning Network looks like it will be going as well. More of the back end. And then again, a good positive of this is that people already thought within a year and a half of Lightning Network being out that it wouldn't work, that it was going to fail. All these negative things around it that we keep hearing about new technology because for whatever reason, people are starting to hate new technology. But it goes to show that it's been working, it's continuing to work, and now it's actually being adopted, the next stage. So can't see what happens with more of this Lightning Network. Sanctions weren't discussed at North Korea crypto conference, attendee says. This goes back a couple of days, or was it yesterday or a couple of days ago, when we talked about the United States citizen living out of Singapore who was arrested by the United States, Virgil Griffin, who was charged under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act for allegedly providing technological training that would make it easier for the Democratic People's Republic of North Korea to evade U.S. sanctions. Now, again, he was in federal custody for, quote, providing highly technical information to North Korea, and, quote, as U.S. Attorney Jeffrey S. Berman put it in last week's announcement. And you remember, my point was when I first saw this article was that the United States never talks about cryptocurrency and blockchain as is, but now they want to talk about it because we have a citizen over there who supposedly helping North Korea evade sanctions. I also said that was highly unlikely because with the information out, you don't need anyone to come in and to teach you how to do this. Again, they can have a 10-year-old in their country make a new cryptocurrency and start using it, and they can avoid sanctions. It takes no technical knowledge. The technology has caught up that quick. You can go on a website and make a cryptocurrency. So I felt that something was kind of suspect about that already. And it looks like an Italian citizen who attended that North Korean crypto conference in April says the U.S. government charges against his friend and Ethereum developer Virgil Griffin are overblown. That is right. Fabio Pistransanti, I can't really pronounce that, but Fabio says that law enforcement has an exaggerated conception of what took place at the blockchain and cryptocurrency conference in North Korea. I'm not going to try to pronounce their capital right now. He said very little of substance transpired. You can read the stories over at CoinDesk. But some of the things I want to highlight were some of the main things he said that I want to highlight. Were very interesting. First, he said, of course, the sanctions were not a topic at all. He said not only were the sanctions not a topic, he said anything that has to do with politics weren't a topic. He said it doesn't work like that in North Korea where you can just roll up and start talking politics. And some of the quotes they have from him, I believe it as well, because if you remember when Dennis Rodman went to North Korea, he was interviewed after that, and some of the questions he was asked, his answers pretty much mirror this as well. With some of the things Dennis Rodman was saying, there's some things they're saying here. And again, they're pretty much aligned in the fact that like you're not about to go to North Korea and start talking politics and being as laissez-faire as you would in the West. It doesn't work like that. They said, first of all, there are only about 10 non-North Koreans that went on the trip for the cryptocurrency conference that was supposed to be 2 days. And he also said, one of the first rules of visiting a regime like North Korea, he told us, was don't talk about any political topic. He said he already knew this, but it was something that the trip's organizers also emphasized. So when you talk about sanctions, that's a political topic. So again, not sure if that actually happened. He also talked about how much it cost for them to go, as North Korea didn't put up the money for them to go. He said it cost him $4,400 to go. He estimated there was about 40 to 60 North Koreans, again, fewer than 10 outsiders. He also emphasized they didn't have an opportunity to speak individually with a single North Korean person at the entire conference. He stated that everything they said on stage or in general was translated for everyone else, and there wasn't really a back and forth conversation. There's more of just the translator translating information. It wasn't, them going into in-depth talks because, as he said, it doesn't go down like that in North Korea. He also said he didn't have a clear sense of the identities of the North Koreans in the room. He saw people sleeping during the conference because he stated earlier in the article they didn't have enough information for an entire week of stuff. They thought they'd only be there for 2 days. So they started doing more improv and just impromptu topics and questions. And again, they're saying this place is going to this conference is going to take place again in 2020. So again, going into details, you can read this on CoinDesk. Just some of the things he said, it sounds like it was overblown and there wasn't really anything going on. But again, I said it when I first covered the story yesterday. Gang, this is the United States we're talking about. We don't care why you're over there or what you're doing. To the United States, you're setting a precedent and they're going to arrest you anyway. So it's crazy to see what's going on. It looks like Virgil actually will be getting released from jail pending his trial coming up. Or he was released from jail already. So I'm assuming he's on bail or something. But he will have his day in court. So we'll see if this story or if his witness, his friend, helps at all. But as of now, he is still an enemy of the state, it looks. What's going on, Valdez Granville? Clarence said, are we going to talk about Dorsey today? Jack Dorsey with Twitter. What happened with Twitter right now? I haven't seen anything. Let me know. New Bitcoin wallet hides addresses to solve terrible user experience. That's right. A new wallet aims to broaden the adoption of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, but making their addresses easier to remember. The service, dubbed Easy Paysy, with Easy Pay SY at the end, is the product of Spanish developer Jose Canelo and has launched December 1st. The developer basically said Bitcoin addresses are not for humans. Something that is true. Again, I just talked about that with IP addresses. Yes, all these things are not for humans. But the funny thing is they actually are for humans when it comes to a level of difficulty, I guess your technical knowledge, because it gets broken down into bits and no one's really talking bits anyway. So it actually is for humans, but I get what he's saying. The normal person, a Bitcoin address, IP address, all this other stuff makes the user experience, also known as the UX, terrible, as he says. And it is. That's one of those things that scares people away from Bitcoin is the address. He's quoted as saying Bitcoin addresses are really not meant for humans. Nobody should be forced to make or receive payments to a crypto address, much as nobody expects you to navigate the World Wide Web just by using IP address, as the description reads. It's actually pretty funny. I didn't even read this part of the article, but that's what I compared it to as well, IP addresses. The wallet service works by offering 3 formats of so-called Bitcoin accounts for users. These are designed to be more user-friendly identifiers to which others can send crypto funds instead of using actual Bitcoin addresses. Behind the mask, funds are delivered to Bitcoin addresses as in a regular transaction. Canelo promising that no address is used more than once. So this is kind of what we talked about already as far as the back-end stuff. And I do believe that this might not be it, but whatever comes about to make that user experience better, I think eventually Bitcoin addresses either will be hid or they will be changed in general. I know there are already people working on that to change how Bitcoin addresses look. I know we just had an update about a week ago where they changed the addresses. So it's happening. It's just taking some time. But as this article headline, security trumps familiarity. One of the things, now this isn't the first person to ever do this. This isn't the first company to do it. You can see here, various services has offered similar solutions over the years, including BitcoinWallet.com in 2014, and Ethereum name service for Ether payments last year. So there are companies starting to work on this already. But the biggest thing is the security concern, because you're introducing a third party to a Bitcoin address, especially when you're talking about sending and receiving money. So it's one of those things where how does the security of this platform work? I don't know, haven't looked into it, but obvious exploits would just be the transmission of that Bitcoin address to that new address that they put out there. A hacker would probably try to put their own address on top of that a user will see, and a user thinking this is a new one, this is safe, send money to it, and then of course the hacker would get it. So I'm sure that's a security concern that most people are worried about, but regardless, it is being worked on, and that's the positive. again, I think in the next year or two, we will have something where Bitcoin addresses become easier. And I guarantee you, as soon as it does happen where Bitcoin addresses are that much easier to see and understand, send and receive money to for the average person out there, I think the adoption curve will increase quite quickly. So we'll see. Clarence said Jack Dorsey making huge Bitcoin farm in Africa. I did see a headline about it. I didn't read on it, but maybe I'll be able to cover it tomorrow for sure. Other than that, folks, as always, thanks for watching. Short show today. I'm on the run. But as always, make sure you smash that like and share. And I will see you all tomorrow with some more crypto news. Cheers.